Hi guys, this is Elmarie here. I'm recording from Worcester, Western Cape, South Africa, where I live, and with my husband. My two sons are all grown up, so one's still living here, the other one's living in Robertson and working there. Today is the 4th of April, and it is, I don't know what time of day, somewhere in the afternoon. My podcast is about my hand-dyed yarn, the yarns that I sell in general. So it's basically about my shop, and then knitting and crocheting and sewing and spinning from time to time, and you may even see a painting once a year if I decide to paint, which hardly ever happens at the moment. So yeah, thank you for coming back if you are a returning viewer, and welcome to all new viewers. If you like what you see, if you like my podcast, please subscribe. If you want to get notifications, there's a little bell there that you can click to get notifications of when my newest podcast is up. I usually record once a week. I try to have it on Mondays, but it usually doesn't work out on a Monday. So once a week, you'll see a podcast come up of me. Please like and leave a comment. Just be kind with your comments, please. I'm a very sensitive soul. Yes, I am a sensitive soul. Sort of. Sometimes. Okay, most of the time. Okay, sometimes. Anyway. So yeah, it is the beginning of autumn in South Africa. We just went into autumn in March. But it is still hot. It's still hot here. It's cooling off. For us, it's definitely cooling off. Today is 29 degrees Celsius. And it's sunny. We had quite a lot of rain. A little bit of rain. But for this time of year, if it actually just starts raining, that's good news. Our rainiest season is usually July and August, so we are very grateful for every drop of rain we're getting right now. It's been a very difficult, severe drought, so we are grateful for that. It is, as I said, quite hot still. But then if you go from somewhere in the 40s degrees Celsius to maximum 35 in a week, that's definitely cooling off. So let's talk about knitting, what I've been up to. I usually talk about what I've been dyeing a bit later or whatever. I need to get some structures in the YouTube channel. I know that. I'm just so an unstructured person. I hate those little boxies. So yeah, if it's unstructured and a bit messy, well, that's me. Sorry about that. Yeah, my FO is my blanket that I finished. I knitted most of it with Beatrix Yarns DK that I had left over, and then the last bit I knitted with one of my colorways. It's not a colorway. Was just an experiment to see the difference between two yarn thicknesses, how it picks up the yarn, the dye. I just ran out of the other dyes, colors, yarn. It is a blanket knitted in the bias, and I knitted with 5mm Knit Pro Basics. As I said before, I'm not much of a Knit Pro fan. But these basics, and they have sort of blunt tips. But I found that once I work with thicker yarns, then it's not such a big deal, really. Okay, so I started on this side, and this still looks very pretty, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I moved on to this side, and then this color, and this one. And then here, things started going haywire because I decided I was going to be clever and make a rectangular blanket instead of a square one. With crocheting, that's very easy. If you do, for instance, corner to corner, you just start, you just keep on increasing on the one side and decreasing on the other side. But with this particular blanket, that didn't work out very well. Also, I realized I don't have enough yarn for that. And I also decided to do most of this right in front of the TV or while we're driving and not looking down at what I'm doing. So I've got quite a terrible amount of boo-boos here. Anyway, went over to this color and this sort of light. Oh no, this is grey. And then this one is my own one. That is what I had left over. And you can see the shape is completely larger and different than the first one, because this yarn is thinner than that one. And I didn't have enough yarn to work with double strands. Either way, this is my blanket. I'm not going to show you the boo-boos. I have to say, I think I'm going to use a different pattern. I know the one of Pulso, there's one of Pulso that actually has a rectangular shape. It was just for a first time blanket. I thought I'll just use the easiest, simplest pattern I can find, which I did. And this is what I have. And this is going to be a blanket to put over my legs in the middle of winter when it's cold and I'm sitting in front of the TV or wherever. Rolling down yarn. So that's that. That's my FO. My whip is still in this bag. Still in this one. I make these, by the way, if anybody's interested. And I sell them. I'll tell you about the sewing bit in a bit. I am still busy with this shawl in my own colorway called, and you'll get bored with this until I'm done. I still have this much. Ooh. What's it with the, anyway, never mind. This is silver threads and golden needles is a colorway. And I'm knitting these on my Chiago needles, the 3.25 millimeters. What I really like about these needles is exactly the same as I like about Addy Lace, is these tips. I have ordered myself a set of bamboos of these, and I'm really excited to get them. So that's that. And then next up, when that bit's done, I'm skipping over to this colorway, which is like a bluish gray color. Not sure if you can see the color properly. That is what I will be doing, and hopefully before the end of the week. My other whip, I've got two whips, though both of them are being frogged. The one has already been frogged. The other one will be frogged, I think, later today, because I'm going to start it over with a different color. I started, sorry, those of you who have been following my YouTube uploads will know that I started doing a tutorial for the Unapologetic Knitter, my favorite vanilla socks in the, sorry, in the magic loop method. The pattern I actually asked for magic loop method, but there is a very nice other tutorial about this particular pattern on YouTube, where the lady uses a 9-inch, a short needle. And I thought, well, since I preferred the magic loop one above the short needle, there's nothing wrong with the short needle, except it messed with my hands a bit. My hands got very tired, so I skipped to the magic loop method, and that really works for me. I thought I'd do a tutorial about that. I also got the permission from the designer to sell the kits of my hand-dyed yarn and her pattern. So I started selling the kits. I stopped with that because I couldn't get the needles anymore. I will be selling the kits now again and promoting them as kits, because I realized that most people buy their own needles. They don't need a set of needles, and if they really want the pattern and they need needles, they will probably just go buy themselves a set of needles. I don't have to worry about that. So I will be doing that again. Unfortunately, the whip I started with the tutorial with that pattern has been frogged. It is also not going to be done. I'm not doing the videos anymore. If there was anybody actually following it, please ask me and I'll do something extra for you and I'll send it to you personally. But on YouTube, no, not doing it anymore. I got absolutely no feedback from anybody that they're actually watching it or that it was helpful in any way. So if it's not helpful or it's not usable, then I don't want to continue doing it. It is a lot of work. Really is a lot of work. Sorry guys, but trying to get that video up and editing out mistakes, which I still don't really understand how to do, and doing the whole video, it's just too much work. If I got feedback that it was actually helpful and it served a purpose, I would have continued, but I'm not going to now. So I ripped this one out, and here's the thingy. I will use this yarn for something else, but it's sort of stuck now. I'll get a different color and roll that down and start using that, but I want to cast on a new pair of socks today. That's the one thing. The other thing that and I'm not even going to show that now because I haven't printed out the pattern, and I know that's one of my biggest flaws, is not printing out patterns. It's a pattern that I did that I got, I think, on Ravelry. It's also a free pattern for a cardigan shrug, or shrug cardigan, and I started it out with one of my DK yarns that, like, it's almost like this one but not quite like this one, and I started out with that, and then I looked at the pattern and I thought, ooh, these two are not going to work together. So, and I actually had two colors that I was going to use together, and I thought, not going to work. This is not going to work for me, not for this particular pattern. It's got a lot of seed stitch in there, so it felt with a variegated yarn that will already be too busy. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I felt that it's going to be too busy, and I didn't have enough of the tonal one to sort of just make the borders variegated and the rest tonal. So I thought, nah, I'll just find a different yarn that I can use, one of my other colors, or once I get in DK again, I'll dye up a particular color that I want to use for that particular cardigan. I'll check what I have, but it's definitely going to be frogged. So I am planning on casting on a new pair of socks. That's essential. It's very important. I'm actually part of a box of socks cowl, and I know myself, if I get behind now, I'm not going to finish anything. I will also be casting on one of the alpaca cowl for Rhinebeck, the one with the sheepies. I'm going to actually cast on another one of that. And those are my two new projects, and I want to finish that cowl. We will be leaving for Gauteng on the 23rd, and the areas I think we're going to go to will be quite cold by now, will cool off quite a lot. So I'm thinking I need some warm stuff for there. I don't think I'll finish a cardigan or a shrug or anything in that direction before then, so I'll probably just take my blanket with me. That's the one part. Okay, so those are whips and planned whips and what have you. Okay, as far as yarn is concerned, I have yarn soaking up right now. At the moment, my yarn dyeing is a bit too complicated for me. I've got two shops that I supply to. The one is in Robertson, by the way. It's called no, let's start with the first one, Simonstown. That is in Cape Town, on the other side towards the southern suburbs, but it's not actually part of the suburbs, it's actually on the other side of the mountain. But anyway, Simonstown, for those of you who know Cape Town, will know where it is. A shop called Knit Shop Love. She's on Facebook. I'll put the link down below. She stocks my yarn, and so does Die Wolmark in Robertson. So I'm supplying wholesale to those two shops. I am so honored that they are willing to just have my shop, my yarn in their shops. That's really amazing, and I'm very grateful. And on the same note, really, that is what's making my things a bit complicated, because I want yarn in my own shop as well. I have said that I will only supply wholesale to 2 retailers, and that's where I'm stopping. It's done. Otherwise, I know I will lose my creative if I have to do too much and start working almost in yeah, that's not going to work for me. I'll keep to where I am now. Most of my colorways are one of a kind at that moment. So I'm trying to work it out so that I have some in my own shop and I can still distribute to them. Just get my maths right. And of those of you who know me will know my maths is horrible. I really, maths is not my forte. So that's what I'm planning on doing at the moment. I have a couple of colorways available in my shop. My website, I will place a URL down below, is about, I would say, 85% done. The only thing, sorry, my ear just decided to close up on me. And my website is about 85%, almost 90% done. But and that means the front of the shop is done and everything that you want to see is done, but the shop part isn't done yet. So the shop part is still under construction. As soon as the shop part is done, I will have shop updates. With that, the Ravelry group is starting today or tomorrow, somewhere in the week. I'm going to have the Ravelry shop up, not the Ravelry shop, the Ravelry group. And I will have the shop updates there. I will actually have show notes there, which means I'll have to do show notes, which will probably need a bit of prayer. I did mention before I'm not the most structured person, I think. I'm not good with that. I think that's why I'm not good with maths either. It's too boxy thingies, but anyway, I'll just have to get there. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. As soon as the Ravelry group is up and the shop is up, my website shop is up, I will inform everybody. You will find me on Instagram, by the way, as A Cup of Yarn. You will also find me on Facebook as A Cup of Yarn, on Ravelry at the moment as Ella73, and the group, I haven't decided on a name yet. I just think that if I change the group's name from A Cup of Yarn to something else, because there really is A Cup of Yarn already on Ravelry, so I will have to change the name, but then I will also have to change the name of the podcast. I will probably do that. Anyway, so let's talk about sewing. That was enough about my yarns. you will find new colorways on Instagram every single time I have new colorways. So as soon as I have a new colorway, I put it up on Instagram and I link it to my Facebook page. That's where you will see at the moment what's going on and what's happening. As I said before, I actually make these project bags. This is what it looks like on the outside, and the light is becoming a bit difficult to see. And this is what it looks like on the inside. This one. The other ones look different. I did buy fabric, materials in Cape Town a while ago that I wanted to use for more project bags, but because of the extreme heat the last month and a half, so I couldn't get to it. But I will show you what I have and what will be the new bags. I stopped actually, I think in December. I just couldn't work. My sewing machine is right on this side, and as you may notice, it's in my shop. I've got 2 blinds here, and there's still a lot of sun coming in, so no, it's way too hot. Anyway, so this is the one. Please excuse all the shades. I'll try and move it back. This is another one. Turn it out. Then I also have this that I've already made bags out of. But it will be another one bag. I've also got this. And then I've got little owls. Oops. Right. And I've got kittens. And this one is like a map. World map type of things. Which are actually, this one is the one I like most. I will start sewing bags again soon. These are all canvas thickness, except for this one. This is also quite thick actually, but it's not canvas thickness. The other ones are all canvas type thicknesses. So it's nice, you don't have to put a lot of interfacing in it to strengthen it. Okay, so that's everything about sewing. I did mention everything about the website. That's pretty much it. I did mention we're going to Gauteng we're leaving on the 23rd of April, and we'll be back at the end of that week. We'll be there for a week. My husband is he's in the gas industry, so he's doing they have like a top-up course every 3rd year, I think. Every 3 years they have to go for another sort of a refresher course, they call it. So I don't know how refreshing it can possibly be, but okay, it's a refresher course. I am really excited to see, to actually meet up for the first time with one of my cotton suppliers, which is Colors of Grace. And I think online we've sort of become friends. You know, we talk a lot over the telephone, and we talk a lot about personal stuff really, and in many ways I think we support for each other. I can't actually just wait sitting down with a cup of coffee and knitting, and she's knitting, and we can just talk. That would be very nice. And the rest of the time we'll be visiting other friends of ours that we haven't seen in quite a while. And then most of the rest of the time will be time spent together. Just together. Just the 2 of us. Because honestly, sometimes life just gets a bit hectic. And you end up being together in the same space, but not really focusing on anything else and just life. And so sometimes we do stuff like that. That it's just the 2 of us that go somewhere, and even if it's for, I mean, logically we should take an aeroplane, but we're not taking an aeroplane, we're taking the bakkie. And we're driving there. just to have some extra time for ourselves, just talking about all sorts of nonsense, and you know, finding some favorite stops. There's this one place in Worcester where they have the best biltong ever. The best biltong is in that little, they call it Worcester, but it's not a city. Honestly, it's not a city. It's like this teeny tiny little town. And I don't know why they ever called it Worcester, because I don't think it would ever have become a city. For those of you who are English and don't know this, stad is the Afrikaans word for city. It's this tiny little town but they have the best biltong. Anybody from America or some other place watching this, biltong is a form of jerky, I think. It's close to that. Just better. Sorry, but it is better. You leave the fat on, for one. That's when we always stop there, and we always get biltong there. And it's extremely not healthy, but we love it. So that's one of our stops. There's some other stops that we always, we know that's one of the places we're going to be sleeping over. It's almost a camping site, but they have chalets there. My husband doesn't camp. He said he camped enough in the army. So stuff like that. And we just have company. The company of us. And I'm really looking forward to that. And we haven't really had enough of that lately. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That will be from the 23rd. I will not be offline. I will be online. I will have my data on. But yeah, I will be on the road. Most of the time we will be on the road. I will try and make little video clippies, whatever, to put on. But most of the time it will just be spending time with my darling husband. So I am now officially at 27 minutes and 21 seconds, 22 seconds, whatever. As I said before, I am still on standard YouTube, so the more subscribers I get, the quicker I can get to the 1 hour one. So please subscribe. Please subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I can actually just move on to the next level and do this whole thing a bit more towards a professional side, instead of having to rush everything into half an hour. Yeah, I will see you guys again. Have a wonderful week. I'm trying to move backwards because the light is like right on my face now, as you can see. I will talk to you guys again next week. I am planning on having my YouTube uploads back on Mondays, but so far once a week. You will find me on YouTube once a week. I don't know which day of that week it will be, but I'll be there once a week. Okay guys, have a wonderful day and the rest of your week, and take care. Bye.